So I bought a wormery. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what a wormery was a few days ago. And the gap, the amount of time between me having never heard of a wormery to me owning a wormery was incredibly small. A matter of minutes before I ordered one online. I think it's just turned up. A box in a box, it's like one of those Russian dolls. Wonder if there's another box in it. So I've started to become a bit more aware of environmental issues in the last year. When I say aware, like I knew about them before, try and do more things. One of those things is try and reduce waste. As much as I love bin day, I just don't know, it's not great to throw everything out. And a lot of stuff I throw out that I don't really need to is kitchen waste. I'm going to get into composting a bit this year in the garden, which is a win-win because you get rid of less waste and you'd have to buy as much compost at the start of the year. And then when I saw this wormery, I thought, kids want a pet as well, some pet worms. Worms eat stuff, happy days. Like me, you may well not have known much about wormeries until now, so we're going to learn together, and this is how I understand it works. You have a wormery. I'm going to keep it in the kitchen to see how it goes first of all, but if it starts to smell or anything that's going outside, you can't keep it too cold or too hot places because it's got worms in it and they don't really like that. You can't put normal worms in. Earthworms live in earth. You have to put special worms in called tiger worms, which is quite exciting. And what happens is you put your food waste in, your vegetable peelings and stuff, and the worms eat it, turn it into compost, and then you put that in your garden. Get rid of rubbish, worms get some food, you get compost. Win, win, win. He knows. So I think this is what's known as an unboxing on there, but lots of unboxings of things like technology and stuff. And what you don't get in technology unboxing videos is live worms. These worms, and they are alive, I've just checked they're moving. I don't know if you can see in there, those are worms. They're tiger worms. Now normal earthworms you can't use in there because they live in earth, as the name says. So you have tiger worms that are half worm, half tiger, I assume. They've taken most of the characteristics of worms rather than tigers though. And you put those in and they go and do all their wormy stuff. They don't look very active, a lot of these worms. Some of them are moving, but I'm going to try and get them in their wormery as soon as possible. So let's pop them down for the minute. Now we have got 2 cardboard boxes that's turned up for this thing here, but worms do actually eat cardboard apparently in small amounts, so we can eventually feed the worms the box they came in. So here's a list of things that you can feed your worms in your wormery. They can eat any dead and decaying organic matter, including ordinary kitchen waste such as peelings, bread, cooked and uncooked scraps, tea bags, eggshells and paper kitchen towels. Well, that's good, I get through a lot of those. As most organic kitchen waste has a high water content, no additional water should be added. You can put in stuff from small vegetarian pets like rabbits and hamsters, their poo, but you can't put in dog or cat poo, in case you're thinking about it, or the waste of any meat-eating animals. You can get bacteria and stuff in it, I believe. Shouldn't add too much onion, leek or citrus fruit peel, as that tends to make the environment too acidic. This is the sort of compost mix thing that I think the worms live in at the bottom before they start eating your veg. Can't find the stand. Am I missing a stand? This is the stand. I thought it was a tray, it's a stand. Okay, so let's get building. First of all, we have to put the holding tray on the stand. The holding tray is the one with the little hole in it, in case you're wondering, because that'll become clear shortly. There's not much fixing things together to do, it seems. There's just these little nuts and bolt type things. Is that what you call them, nuts and bolts? I'm not sure, it's probably got a different name. But this just fixes the base thing to the holding tank. If you're good at doing stuff like this, watching me do it must be so frustrating. I don't think these need to be exceptionally tight. I think they're just to keep the top tray thing from falling off the base. So the last bit here that we need to fix is this tap thing. What basically happens is, as well as the sort of normal composty type stuff that you get, The worms also produce some kind of liquid fertiliser. I think it's worm diarrhea. I'm not sure, I've not really researched it. And this tap gives you an on-tap supply of worm diarrhea that you can drink as much as you want or put in the garden, which is probably what I'm going to do. So tap, 2 washers and a nut. One of these goes on the tap, one of the little washer things. Tap goes through. The washer goes on the other side and then the nut on top of it, and you just tighten up your worm diarrhea tap. See, all done. I've messed this up. I've messed it up. We need to undo this bit here. So I forgot my sump tray, which is what this is. I was wondering how the water was going to get into there. This basically goes on top of here first, which gives you a nice little vessel for collecting worm diarrhea, and then that's when you put the tap on. There we go. That makes much more sense now. I understand it. So next we get your first of the trays. We put a bit of newspaper in it. I'm using the Times, but you can use any newspaper. I just picked this one because my mum buys it. I don't buy a newspaper because it's not 1998 and you don't really need to, but anyway, get that, and that goes on top there. This bag's the coir bedding, I think. I don't know how you say it. C-O-I-R is how you spell it, and that's what goes on top of here. So we're just going to add that now, and this is where the worms are going to start off living. We just need to slightly wet this. We just need to slightly wet this now so it's not completely dry, but not very much. There we go, that's probably a bit too much. I'll mix it around a bit. So next, it's time to add our tiger worms. Go on, lads and lasses. So we just get our little wormy friends, we open the bag up and we pour them into the middle of here. Out you come, my friends. Enjoy yourself. Get stuck in, lads. Oops. Check there's none in the bag, that'd be a horrible way to die. There we go, this is them. It's our little worms, and these are going to do the composting for us and make all our kitchen stuff mega. Now we just need to get a couple of big handfuls of food waste. We're just going to pop that into a corner. Take out the onion because it said to leave that for now, didn't it? Now you just put the lid on and the worms will do their magic. So the way the wormery works is called an upward migration system. What happens is you start off with a little bit of food waste that we put in there, a few vegetable peelings. Then we're going to add some more in a couple of days, another handful, a couple of days later another handful. Carry on like this for a few weeks, then eventually you're going to be able to put more and more stuff in. The food waste will break down and start to rot. Worms are going to get stuck into it, start munching it up, making it into compost. Eventually, this tray is going to get full and you put another tray on top, and the worms work their way through these little mesh holes here. Worms come up through these into the top layer and they'll keep going up. So eventually the bottom layer will be all composty and ready to take out, and your worms will all be hanging around at the top eating those mega vegetable peelings. Turns out this bag is lime. Can you see it in there? And all you do, if you are putting in stuff like onions or leeks or citrus stuff that's a bit too acidic, you just chuck a little bit of that in as well, and it sort of helps tone down the acid in it and make it a much more pleasant soil compost for you. So that's how you build a wormery. I got mine from a company called Original Organics. There's a link down below if you want to take a look at that. They seem to be pretty good in the world of wormeries from my limited research and knowledge. So have a look at that if you want to invest in your own wormery. Nice pet for the kids. As I say, got to keep it in the kitchen first of all, because you can't keep it out in the cold. You can put it in a shed in the middle of winter and that if you need to, but they shouldn't be like freezing cold. So I think our kitchen will be fine as long as as long as you don't put too much food in and you're not putting meat in, then it shouldn't start to smell, and the worms should be just doing their job with that. And then also you'd have to go outside, so you're more likely to use it. 'Cause if you've got to go and trudge outside in the rain, you're probably going to go, just put my potato peelings in the bin. We eat quite a lot of vegetables here, so we're going to get through quite a lot of peelings, I think. So, I mean, this stuff that we got here, this is just from like 3 days, and I got it all thinking, I could put that in the wormery, but I didn't realise you got to start off so slowly with all that. But yeah, I'll probably chuck that in the bin now, or the compost heap. I'm going to get a proper compost heap as well. I don't think it's a substitute for a compost heap, but it's an extra bonus thing for your garden. This is going to be the first of quite a lot of gardening videos of the year. Whoa, Jesus Christ, got a parrot attack. This is going to be the first of a number of gardening videos on the channel this year. Next week we're going to have the results of last year's potato competition, with the ultimate prize being naming rights for the garden till we have a new winner anyway, so stay tuned for that if you entered. I'm sorry it's taken so long to judge, it's a bit rubbish of me, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be good. And we'll also have very soon details of next year's potato competition and also our first ever sort of meetup type scenario. So there'll be news of that soon from the garden. We're also going to be going through what we're going to be growing this year and things like that. So a lot more garden related content to come. If you've never really grown anything, I think this could be a good year to try. I get quite a lot of messages from people who suffer from depression or anxiety and things like that, general mental health issues. You say my videos help them quite a lot, and I think gardening is something that is quite relaxing and might help a lot of people as well. And it's quite easy to do. You don't need a lot of space. If you've got any outdoor space at all, and even if that's like a window box, a window ledge or something, you can grow things. You can grow some things inside as well. Any outdoor space at all. If you've got somewhere you can put a sack, you can grow potatoes in them. So there's a lot of options out there, and we're going to do a lot of that on the channel over the next few months, because I quite like gardening. I quite like being outside here, and I want to be a bit more, I don't know, provide a bit more food for the family from the garden. I think it's probably quite good for the environment, and it's nice, healthy stuff. And if the kids get involved and grow vegetables, they're probably a bit more likely to eat them, I think. So we're going to be doing a lot more of that, and yeah, so hope you like that. If not, the unsubscribe button's down there. Just come back in a bit when there'll be something more interesting for you.